Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Jamie Lee, and I'm joined by my husband, Mr. Jared Lee. Hello, Jared.
Hello.
Well, I got a question for you.
Okay.
All right, so now we go to City Walk a lot, as we're passing through to go to the parks or just eat or do whatever. What is one thing at City Walk that you would like to do and haven't done yet? Or place to eat or actually like an activity?
Probably the escape room things that they have. I've heard very mixed reviews about those, but I would like to try them. They have the Back to the Future and what's the other one?
Jurassic Park was another one, I think.
Yeah, they're like themed, but I would like to do those. I mean, restaurant-wise, I've still never eaten cowfish.
Yeah, we got to eat a cowfish.
Yeah. I mean, granted, there's not a ton of things in City Walk, but...
Well, we haven't... I don't think we've seen a movie there, have we?
I'm trying to remember. I may
recall.
have a long time ago, but I haven't in the past, at least the past decade for sure.
Yeah. I would like to play mini golf.
Oh, yeah, that's over there on the side. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I see it every time we come in, and I'm like, I'm going to do this one.
Where do you even go to sign up for that?
So, I think it's where you get off of the moving walkways, and you go around the corner to the right, and you go down. I think that's how you get to it.
Okay, because I've never even been down. I just see it when we're going on the moving walkways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So escape room. I would like to do escape room too. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I don't know. I forgot how much they are. I don't think they're that bad.
Well, they came down in price. When they first came out, they were very expensive. And I remember the reviews weren't great. And then the pricing came down. So I don't know what the pricing is currently. But,
okay.
I mean, if, you're just saying what you would like to do, not necessarily what, economically you would want to do, I suppose.
Gotcha. Well, just to switch gears here, we just got back from Thanksgiving in Missouri. So we hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Did you have a good Thanksgiving, Jared?
I did. It was good to see, family and eat a lot. We stayed with my brother, which is always a good time because our kids are like the same age, so they just play
it was
for
great.
like a week straight. And then, going back a little rough. Our son got sick like the day, like literally the evening before we were leaving, which made the drive home. Like it was just, he wasn't really bad. It was just, I felt bad for him because he didn't feel good. So that's never fun. But it was a good time. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did. I loved being able to see my baby niece. She was 4 months old. So I got to cuddle her a bunch and being with family and seeing everybody. It was really nice. I getting down or getting up, I guess, to Missouri is not the easiest thing. I mean, it's quite a drive, but once we're there, it's nice, and I could do without the cold weather. Not gonna lie.
I was gonna say Missouri. We get there, and I think it was like in the 40s, and I had it was that rain. I don't know what it is I remember about Missouri. It's like it's not raining, but it's like this fine mist that just sprays you in the face when it's 40 degrees, and it's. I would rather be rained on. It's just the worst. It's like somebody's just throwing a bunch of stuff in your face constantly. Right.
I mean, I knew that it would be like that going there, so I prepared. I got all the coats out, and I got sweatshirts and everything. So it's fine. It's just just not used to it. Like it's fine.
I didn't like it when we lived there.
It's one
of those things. Like I feel the exact same way about it I did when we moved.
Okay.
And I did not bring a coat, and nor did I. I was like, I forgot it, and I'm not buying one. So
you refused.
I just wore some extra shirts. So I was like, I'm not. Yeah, I'll use it one time. I was like, I'm not doing it. So.
Well, we also did Christmas for our kids and our nieces and nephews and cousins and everything while we were there. So it was like a pre-Christmas kind of celebration. Cool.
It was like a Thanksmas.
Thanksmas.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah, Christgiving. And then we had Christmas, so yeah.
Yeah, so it was really fun, and I'm glad we went. So now while we had to do Christmas this year, we're not going to be having to drive up to Springfield anymore. We will just get to enjoy the holidays, relax a little bit. It'll be good. It'll be great.
I like trying it out that way because ever since we've lived here, we've literally had Christmas, and then we travel either the next day or a couple days later, and it's I don't know. It just always makes it very stressful around Christmas time. So it'd be kind of nice to just be able to relax a little bit, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, we are going to talk about Christmas at Universal Studios Orlando, all of the holiday stuff that you can do. And we're going to give you our list of our top 10 favorite things you can do during the holidays at Universal.
Yes.
And we're going to go backwards to like 10 to 1 when we get there, just because that's what you should do it, right?
Build suspense.
10 to 1. Absolutely.
I don't know if that's, are you supposed to do it that way?
I mean, you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
That's the way I want to do it.
Okay.
Well, we do have some news that we want to cover, but first we want to mention some other things about the network. And the first thing is we want to mention Club 32. You should check out our awesome group there.
Yeah, if you want even more content, we have that's a place for you. It's Club 32. So that's like our Patreon, but we just host it on our own end. We don't use Patreon, and makes a little bit better process. So there we have live streams. We have the Club 32 show we do every Tuesday where we live stream with everybody, chat, and about whatever. We have meetups. We have the Cool Kids Cooking Show where we make a Disney or Universal dish. That's always a good time. That's once a month. We have the Club 32 Speakeasy. We have a private podcast feed. We have a private Facebook group, private Discord, and we're always looking to do some trivia, some other things. And I think around Christmas we're going to add in some things since we won't be hopefully traveling. We're going to be going as many places, be able to chill out a little bit and do some more stuff in there, and all sorts of stuff. So as you get 20% off of CTM apparel and 1901 Candle Company products year round. And if you're interested in there, you can go to ctmvip.com. We have monthly or yearly options, and we also do live streams, like we do hotel tours and when we're in the parks and things like that. And, in the group, we can actually, share a little bit more, chat a little bit, get more, talk to people a little bit better in there. So, again, ctmvip.com is where you go for that. And if you got any questions, you can always message us. But if you're interested in joining, we'd love to have you.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's get to a little bit of news we want to talk about. The first story we've got today is that the DreamWorks land sign has been revealed.
It has. It wasn't much. I mean, they had mentioned that this was going to be DreamWorks Land, which this is replacing the former just Kid Zone that was over there.
Woody Woodpeckers.
Yeah.
Kid Zone.
So this is now DreamWorks Land. It's not done, but the sign is like it's a sign reveal just showing what's coming. And it is currently under construction. With, we don't know the details. I know. We do know, I believe Woody Woodpecker coaster is now going to be the Troller coaster for Trolls.
Yeah. They haven't announced that, like you said, just a rumor, but
they haven't announced it. They haven't announced specifics about it. There's some aerial shots. I kind of hope they extend that ride because that ride was very short, but they probably won't.
I mean, it's okay if they don't.
Or they just let it go through like twice or something.
Right.
But, so that is that. We don't know an opening date quite yet. I've heard rumblings of like summer.
They still 2024. Yeah. That's all we know.
Yeah. So hopefully, that would make sense about around summer of 24. That'd be open in time. So yeah. But we do have a sign, and you can go look at it. It has Shrek
sign
and Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
And some others, I believe.
Donkey. Yeah.
Of course, you got to have Donkey. Yeah.
And like the Trolls too, right there too.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's exciting when it's going to be open. I mean, our kids. We've talked about it. Our kids are obsessed with Trolls and. Shrek, they don't really know too well.
They don't. I think the rumor is, of course, like we have another story that this won't be a shock, but that there will be doing more Shrek movies. So I like the Shrek movies. I think they're really good. It's just those were out. I mean, how long? When's the last time the Shrek movie was out? Like over a decade
good
ago.
Question.
It's been a bit. So most kids today don't know anything about it, but I think most kids would probably like those movies because it has, it's got the elements of like your fairy tales and things. But
absolutely,
I definitely think like we've talked about. Excuse me. We've talked about. Universal updating things for kids. This is a great step in that direction. Like we've talked about with the other, some of the areas in this, especially in the like island side with the Betty Boop stuff, like that obviously doesn't appeal to younger kids. Mm-hmm. So I think they'll probably make their way around, and they have enough IPs now to be able to do a lot of these things in the parks. Yeah. So I think this is a good move. I'm looking forward to it. And I think our kids will really enjoy it.
Absolutely. Second story we're going to talk about is that there is a Harry Potter owl shoulder plush available.
Yeah, so this is $55, and its head moves left, right, up, down, wings move, and it hoots at you.
It's like a chirping hoot kind of thing.
It's cute. I don't know if it's worth $55.
But it's interactive.
It is interactive.
So that's $55. You're thinking, okay, that's a good chunk of change because it's small. I mean, it's similar to like the Disney ones. They had the Porg ones. They had. But Pascal, they had Tinkerbell.
The Disney ones aren't animatronic, though, are
they? They don't move.
Yeah.
No. This one does move. So I think it's super cute.
I think they'll sell very well. Because the owls and stuff from Harry Potter. So I think our daughter will want one.
Yeah.
I don't think you should probably get one.
I think your wife would want one. I'm just saying.
Apparently, she's going to get one, so
No.
never mind.
No.
We'll see. But yeah, I would like to look at them. But yeah, they have those now. So
Yeah.
I mean, anything Harry Potter in the parks typically does pretty well.
Well, I mentioned this one because it was like a brand new kind of thing that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
So I wanted to mention that. And the last thing we're going to talk about is that Universal is looking to relaunch the Bourne movies.
So
How do you feel about that, Jared?
So I love the Bourne movies, but I am in this place now where let's just stop the continuation of like sequels of movies that have been good in the past, because I feel like everybody, like Hollywood and all these places, they're just out of ideas. So even though Top Gun Maverick was good, I'm willing to say none of these, because for every Top Gun Maverick, there's 7 terrible movies. And the first, there were 3. The first Bourne trilogy was great.
Bourne Identity, Bourne Supremacy, Bourne Ultimatum.
I think I don't remember the details,
3?
but I remember there were 3, and they were really good, and I loved them. And then they came out with the one that had Jeremy Renner in it, which I don't think anybody really. We were like, why? And then they came out with Bourne. I think it was I don't know. It was anyway. Maybe Ultimatum or Supremacy. I can't remember. But anyways, sometimes it's okay just to make 3 good movies and just leave it there. So I don't know. At this point now, hopefully I'm wrong, and these are really good. It has a chance to be. And none of the Bourne movies were terrible. It's just I kind of just don't like. I've never been a fan of like live action remakes or these sequels that 30, 40 years later. I think all it does is diminish the brand typically. So hopefully they do this well, and I'm wrong about it, which if I'm wrong, fine. But I think as a rule, I would rather just, not have these, not have a Toy Story 4 and 5 and a Frozen 17 and 18 and all this stuff. I just, come up with new stuff.
Well, in a related thought, if you haven't seen the Bourne show, the Stunt Spectacular, whatever they call it, at Universal, you need to go watch it.
It's a really good show.
It is so good. Like I love it. I every time I go to Universal, I'm like, can we do that? Usually with our kids, like it's not ideal kind of show. But I would do that like every time I'm there.
It is really neat how they do it with like the special effects and you going into it. I've seen stunt shows, and I remember the Terminator show that was in there. I mean, it was okay, but this is way better than the Terminator show.
Oh yeah. I loved it. So.
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember or not, the third Bourne movie was a really big deal in the I would say Southwest Missouri, because you remember that movie they revealed that Jason Bourne is actually from Nixa.
I think it was Supremacy, actually.
I don't remember the name of the third one, but they revealed his name was David Webb, and he was from Nixa, Missouri. And I remember being in the theater being like, what? And everyone just like, at least in our theater, being in Springfield,
That's
Missouri,
right.
which Nixa is like a sister city.
I remember watching it, and when it popped up, we were like, what? Because everybody in the theater was just like, that's weird.
Also, another little, I guess you could call it the Easter egg. A friend of ours, a family friend, worked on Iron Man 3.
My brother's girlfriend's brother. If that makes sense.
Family friend.
Family friend. Okay.
So I don't remember how he got on and worked on the movie. And in one of the scenes where there's a scene where they were looking at the locations of those, I think there was the bombs that had gone off or something like that. And in there, you can see Springfield, Missouri pop up. And he told us that he pushed and be like, hey, can we have that in there? So Springfield, Missouri also is in the Iron Man movie. Not a very good Iron Man movie, in my opinion, but it was still in there. And after he worked on it, he told us about it. And I was like, really? And he's like, and also,
it was because of me.
Yeah, and also he said that everyone was really mad about what they did to some of the characters in that. Barely on the set too, which I had my beefs about. So, which is interesting. But yeah, anyways, that was
tangent.
Springfield, Missouri in the movies segment.
There you go.
That's all we have to. We'll never do that segment again.
Okay. Great. All right. Okay, let's move on to Christmas at Universal Orlando Resort. And we're going to give you our top 10 favorite things we like to do there, because this year there's not anything new. Some things have changed a little bit, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. But there's nothing new they have this year. So
there's no completely new offerings.
Yeah. So we actually haven't been to experience Universal Christmas yet. We went to Universal on the 13th of November, and it actually started on November 17th. So we missed it by a couple days. But it does run, again, November 17th through December 31st. And let's give our top 10.
Yeah, and because nothing's new. We've experienced these things in a way.
We have
in a different, maybe in an altered form, but we can,
absolutely.
we're able to talk about them.
We can talk about it,
and we're going to experience it in a little bit. So
few weeks.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. So, why don't you start with number 10?
Number 10 would be the holiday decor and events that they have at the hotels.
Yeah. So, they usually put a sizable Christmas tree. At least in each of the hotels. The value resorts, like the endless summer resorts, they do a little decoration in the hotels, and they might have like a themed drink and some food items. But the bulk of the stuff that you're going to find that's really cool in the resorts is going to be at the premier resorts. Like they have like a Christmas Day buffet. Some of the hotels will do a Hanukkah lighting ceremony, stuff like that. So it's not a ton of stuff they do for Christmas, but they do get in the Christmas spirit with the decorations and stuff. And especially Cabana Bay, that big tree in the middle.
Yeah, Cabana Bay is good. I also believe, I want to go over there and check it out, but Sapphire Falls probably looks really good at Christmas time.
Have we ever been over there at Christmas?
I'm trying to think we have. I love Sapphire is probably my favorite Universal resort in that I think it's gorgeous, and I love like whatever the motif is. That's my jam. I like it. So I feel like it would do they've got that little lobby area with those chairs. I feel like they could probably do a pretty big Christmas tree in there.
Oh yeah,
really good.
It is my favorite, but I'd only stay there if I can get a rate close-ish to like Cabana Bay, because sometimes they can get real expensive to stay there, and sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
So the rate has to be right.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I love it. It's just one that I wish the rooms were more like Cabana Bay. We had those extra space sometimes.
The suites, like the family suites. Yeah.
But
I hear you.
But I bet I'm assuming that one is very pretty at Christmas.
Yes. I guess we'll have to check it out.
I guess we'll have to see.
Number 9. What's number 9?
Well, there is a Earl the Squirrel meet and greet. And I guess some people may not know about Earl the Squirrel, because we didn't when we first started going to Universal.
So Earl the Squirrel, he has been almost a de facto mascot of Universal Christmas since, what year was that? 2015?
When they started really pushing it, I think.
Yeah. And
it would have been before we really started going to Universal.
Yeah. And I think it was they found a squirrel in the tree, in the big Christmas tree that they have in New York. I think that was the story, because now even you'll find a little Earl of the Squirrel that pops out of the tree every once in a while, like just like, hey guys, I'm in here. But I think, like I said, I think it was 2015. And I think that's the origin of the story, and they just made him a mascot, basically.
Yeah. So looking real quick, it says according to his official backstory from Universal, Earl the Squirrel was a squirrel who snuck into Universal Studios on one of their Christmas trees. Being mischievous with a love of blue Christmas lights, he would gnaw and steal blue lights from across the park to decorate his home. So I believe it was actually in the park that this happened, where like they found a squirrel and he was, I guess the light sometimes wouldn't work.
Oh, okay.
And they named him Earl the Squirrel, and that's why if you go up to the Christmas tree, you can still see like he pops out. So that's the backstory.
And every year his presence in the park has just expanded more and more. Well, like on merchandise, he's the meet and greet specifically. They put him out there. I think starting last year, it was the first year he was out.
The meet and greet's pretty new.
And he's cute. He's a cute little guy.
Yeah, they kind of turned him into a cartoony, cute mascot that they sell lots of merchandise for, and now you got a meet and greet. So
yeah, I mean he's cute. I like him. Number 8,
there is the holiday tree hunt.
Yeah, so this is kind of a scavenger hunt type of thing where you get like a little map, and you go in. There's how many trees are there? Like 13 or 16.
It's in the teens. I can't remember
something like that.
I can't remember exactly how many.
Yeah, and each of the I forget exactly what it is, but like each of the trees will have a certain thing. Like you're supposed to find where they are on the map, and then you complete the map, and then you get a prize, which is an ornament.
Yeah, I mean they're usually in gift shops or little shops off to the side, so you just go through and find them all, and they're themed trees. So you go in there and it'll be like
there's a Cat in the Hat one.
Well, there's one that's in the Halloween store. That's a Halloween themed Christmas tree.
All Hallows All Hallows Eve Boutique or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, there's that one. There's the superhero one.
Yeah, they do have the superhero
The
one.
comic book store.
I believe there's one in Men in Black also. The gift shop.
The
for Men in
alien
Black.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And they've got the SpongeBob tree. What was my favorite? My favorite one. Oh, well, the Back to the Future one is my favorite in the Legacy store.
Right.
Because it's Back to the Future.
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of fun, and like our kids really like Christmas trees. So it's actually really fun to kind of complete that with them, like a game.
And our daughter loves objectives.
Loves objectives.
So she's a big fan.
Yeah, so it's fun. It's fun. Number 7.
Number 7 is the Red and Green Coconut Club in City Walk. So this like the Coconut Club, they theme now after like Halloween or Christmas.
Yeah.
So this is what they do for Christmas time.
So last year they themed it to like a retro 50s Christmas. I don't think they did that this year. I haven't seen it yet, but I don't think it's the same. They still decorated for Christmas, which is cool. But I don't think it's the same.
And they have like holiday themed drinks and things like that.
It's actually really cool in there just to kind of hang out and chill. But they actually got that done a little bit after the start of this. So like it was a couple days ago. They just finished it.
They were a little later this year than typically on all the Christmas stuff. I don't know as to why, if it was on purpose or maybe
I don't know.
something got delayed. But because during our meetup weekend, we planned on, okay, we'll go over to Universal because that's when they start Christmas. And usually, and that's where they were starting Christmas about, was it a week later?
No, like usually they start at like the Saturday of Veterans Day weekend, so Veterans Day, and then this year they started on the 17th, which is like 5 days later.
Yeah, so roughly about a week. Yeah, so it was just one thing where it's been a little later this year for whatever reason on a few things.
But this place is really cool, but its hours are really hard to figure out because sometimes they have a lot of private events they do there, so you just kind of have to like keep your ear to the ground on social media about when it's open. So
yeah, it's not like a big sought after place either.
No.
So it's this sort of like a lot of people don't even really know about it that aren't into everything because it's kind of tucked away a little bit off City Walk.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to know it's there to begin with. So it's a little bit, I mean, I guess you could call it almost, honestly, they ought to go with like the speakeasy route. Yeah, so it's kind of like an in the know type of thing. Because the Universal really, I mean, they talk about it some, but I'm trying to think if somebody just came to Universal around Christmas time that, just wanted to come. I don't know that Universal has anything to really let them know about it. That's really like, hey, be sure to check this out sort of thing. I'm trying to think. Not that I can think of it anyways.
They do have nice views when you go upstairs. They've got nice views of City Walk and of the parks and stuff. It's nice up there.
I don't think you've been. I haven't been in there yet.
Oh, you haven't?
I don't think for anything I never have been in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I went with one of our friends last year, I think. Okay, number 6, the Grinch and Friends Character Breakfast. I'm going to preface this one saying I would have put this higher on the list, like toward the top, but it's changed this year. So I put it lower.
It has changed.
Yeah.
So last year we did it for the first time, and this was, I guess I would say it was a little hectic, I guess is the best way to put it. You could tell the staff was very overwhelmed the day we did it, at least. And I think I know as to why they changed this a little bit. Because last year it was you go in and it was an all-you-can-eat buffet, and you sat down and the Grinch went to each table. And
this is at Circus McGurkus in Sioux Landing.
And nobody, I mean, you weren't pushed out quickly. You could stay as long as you wanted to. And then what ended up happening were, people's time, including ours, you'd say you're supposed to eat at 10. You weren't able to get a table until like 11 or 11. It was getting pushed back quite a bit. So this year they changed it to where there's no buffet. It's I think you choose from a few things. They bring it to you.
Yeah, it's all plated, and you choose from an entree, an entree, but you get like croissants and muffins and stuff to begin with, and then your entree, and then you get like cookies and stuff at the end.
Yeah, and then you meet the Grinch after you're done at a stationary place.
Right.
So I get why they did this because I think last year was probably a lot of chaos, and really people wanted to linger around because the Grinch is cool. Like he would literally come to your table and sit down and like mess with you and throw food at you and get a picture. And,
it was great.
And I think I think the reason I could see them changing that as well is because a lot of people would try and stop him between tables and get pictures. And, I think it was just a lot of when your goal is to, obviously they want people to be happy, but they want to try and move as many people through there in a timely manner. I don't think that really worked well for it. So them changing it, I get what they're doing. Now they did up the price too.
Well, they changed locations.
They did change locations.
Circus McGurkus is under construction right now. It's being like refurbished. So they couldn't have it in there this year. So they moved it to Confisco Grill. Now I don't think Confisco Grill is set up because it's upstairs, right? I think it's upstairs.
Yes, yeah.
I don't think it's set up for like a buffet up there. So that may be one of the reasons why they didn't do a buffet.
It's possible. Although last year, if you remember, the buffet was so slow.
It was very slow.
Like the line to get food would take you at minimum 10, 15 minutes. It was just very slow. So I'm not going to be surprised even if it goes back to Circus McGurkus if they keep this way, just because it moves people through quicker. And to be honest, having not done, I think this way may work better anyways. Just considering you can be more reliable on your time, and you can still get a picture with the Grinch and all that stuff. So it's different, but I see and understand why they changed it, and trying to create like a happy medium for everybody.
Absolutely. And you did mention the price increase. It went up in price by I think $20.
It went up quite a bit.
So I believe, I can't remember exactly, but I think last year we paid, I want to say it was $36.99 per person or per adult, and then it was $29 or something for kids.
I believe that
something
somewhere
like that.
around there sounds about right.
Yeah, something like that. And this year it's $58.99 for adults. Quite a jump, and a different experience altogether. So again, we're not going to be doing this year, but we really loved what we had last year and our experience with the Grinch, and it was great. So
I mean, anything Grinch, and you'll see it later on the list as well. Anything Grinch is pretty. Universal does a really good job of.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, the price jump. Now this is an in-demand thing, is why they did this, and I'm pretty sure it's still all sold out.
I actually don't know if it's sold out. It does sell out every year.
Yeah. So
so last year I had booked it like 6 weeks before or something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, you can do that. It's always a good time, but a little bit different experience than years past.
Number 5 is Christmas in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Now there's many things you can do in Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley. What is one that's your favorite, Jared?
I love how they just put the Christmas. I mean, Harry Potter kind of is one of those things where it's a de facto Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's my Christmas movie trilogy, or not trilogy.
Octology, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
there's 8 of them.
Right.
A lot of people consider them sort of like de facto Christmas movies because they take place around Christmas a lot of times, or it's snowing. But so the lights being up in there, and they do little extra things. But I mean, my favorite thing. It's probably the Hogwarts Castle show that they do for Christmas. I think it's pretty neat. I mean, I think it's a concept that I'm sure they got from Disney on projection technology up there, but it is really cool. The way they do it is much more like a quick numerous shows to kind of keep things moving. So there's not one giant show because they don't have the room in the Wizarding World to do that over there in Hogsmeade. So they kind of do these quick little 10, 15-minute shows.
I think it's only 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And that's really all they can do, again, because even when they do each of those, like if you're wanting to get back to actually ride the ride or go on, what's the one over there our daughter likes? My brain is terrible tonight.
Flight of Hippogriff?
Flight of the Hippogriff. My brain. I was thinking Flight of Hagrid. And I'm like, that's not correct. You've got to push through a lot of people to be able to get over there. So I do like it though. It's a cool show, and it's it doesn't take up a lot of time either.
Well, yeah, and they do have it on the castle, like just a nighttime lights projection show on the castle during like the rest of the year. This one is just the magic of Christmas for these 2 months. But yeah, it's 10 minutes, and I think it runs every 20 minutes.
It runs quite frequently.
Yeah, so if you miss it, then you can catch it later. But it does get crowded in there. It does.
I believe last year they started where if you're going on a ride, they had a little bit of a divide. They had cast members, so you would go to the left.
That was so confusing.
Yeah. Again, if you've been back there's not a lot of space back here.
Right.
So it's just one of those things where it gets very tight back there. So a little bit of pandemonium. But Wizarding World is just, I love it. What's your favorite thing?
It's beautiful. I do like the Magic of Christmas projection show. I do like that. I do like some of the merchandise they have for Christmas. It's a lot of like the house merchandise, and it's all like they have a lot of sweaters. I like the sweaters. I like the Harry Potter Christmas tree. It's in the front of the park, but still. Remains to be seen. But yeah, you're right. It feels Christmassy all year long, and just throw up some lights and it's even better. A little bit of wreaths here and there, some garland.
I personally love the Santa Voldemort. He's great.
Santa Voldemort. Wouldn't it be Dumbledore?
Well, right. That's what I'm saying. They don't have that, but I'm just
Dumbleclaws.
I just think it was obviously that you'd have Voldemort being Santa would be
hilarious.
Quite ridiculous.
Well, that's true.
But
that's true.
They don't do it. JK would not allow that, even if Universal wanted to.
She would not. Okay, so that was number 5. Number 4, holiday tribute store.
Now, these are always cool. So if you're unaware, the tribute store with Universal, this is a themed gift shop, essentially, but it's a merchandise store where they theme it quarterly. So around
quarterly?
Usually it's quarterly that I can remember.
Let's see. Mardi Gras. Oh, summer. They usually do one for the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so there we go. So if you like, they have a Halloween one, like Jamie said, they have a Mardi Gras one, and then they have Christmas. So that it's a store you walk in, and each room that you go into has merchandise, but it's all themed after certain things. And it's always really cool. They usually have a Harry Potter room that looks gorgeous, like very Christmassy,
like snowy Christmas.
Yeah. So they have different things, but it's one of the best things. It's one of the best things they do. One of the most unique things that they do. In that, I mean, essentially, it is obviously to get you to buy merchandise, but it's I don't know if you call it an attraction on its own, but it is something very cool.
It's fun. Yeah. And there's a Grinch. It's like the mailroom.
Yes.
Well, section.
We walked through this. This was actually open.
This was open
when we went. So yeah, you had a Grinch room. You had a Harry Potter.
You had Earl the Squirrel.
You did have Earl the Squirrel. He's a lot. He's very prevalent in the tribute store.
So yeah, this was in the Studio Styles room, I guess, or rooms in Beverly Hills section. They do have a second one that's over in New York that they use for the Halloween. So I think they're going to use both of those.
They might.
Like back and forth for the tribute store?
They might.
I mean, it's okay.
It probably cuts down the amount of, they work on one, the other one goes up, and they don't have to have, because typically you've got a couple of weeks in between when they're working on changing it over.
And there's always full of Easter eggs in these tribute stores. So if you pay attention, you can see like in the Halloween Horror Nights one, there was Earl the Squirrel stuff all over the place.
Yeah.
And like, it's just kind of fun to find that stuff. So, but yeah, it's open until the end of the season. Number 3, Universal's Holiday Parade featuring Macy's.
Now this, in my opinion at least, specifically by the Christmas tree to see this is the best spot because this is a Christmas parade that comes around. But if you get over there by the Christmas tree, which is over in the New York section, when Santa comes by, he lights the tree. And it's really cool. And they do, now I'm trying to think, do they do Snope or something like it?
They do confetti.
That's right.
They do confetti.
I knew they did something.
Yes.
So they, the parade, so it's very much, obviously, like if you've ever seen a Macy's, Thanksgiving or Christmas Day parade, very similar in how they do it. They have balloons that people hold up and walk with, which we've been there at times when it's windy.
Oof.
You can tell it gets a little difficult, so maybe they might put them a little lower. It's a different type of parade than if you just like, say, a Disney one, because they actually are holding up floats.
Well, yeah, they have the floats for their IPs, like Universal IPs, like Shrek and Madagascar, and
tons of Minions.
A lot of Minions, and 3 Blind Mice is like probably one of my favorite things about the parade.
Yeah,
because they're walking around the games. I love those guys. But yeah, and then holding the balloons. There's like a lot of people holding each balloon too, which are not as big as the Thanksgiving Day parade, but they still are really big,
Well, and like one of the years we did, it was really windy, so they were very low. So if it's not really windy, they will be up much higher. So it kind of depends on that. But it's again, I'm not a huge parade person, but I do enjoy this parade, and especially if you get over there, I would say by the Christmas tree would be the best spot to be.
And if you want to get a good view of the Christmas tree, because what happens is Santa ends the parade. Does he end it?
He doesn't end it.
Close to the end?
He's toward the end.
Okay.
But there's things that come after him.
So he comes around by Jimmy Fallon ride, and he turns the corner, and as he turns the corner, he lights the tree. and the tree comes on and there's like ho 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 and the music and everything. So if you want to get the best view of that, you want to be standing right in front of the mummy.
Mm-hmm.
Right in front of the mummy. That's the best place to be.
Agreed.
That's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 2, Grinchmas Holiday Spectacular.
Yeah, so this is a show they do every year. It's free of charge. It's included in your admission, and it is over. You get in there by Circus McGurkus typically, and you actually walk backstage. But this takes place in the Blue Man Theater.
Yeah, the Blue Man Group Theater.
So this is actually the Grinch story that they do as a play. And it's very well done. We've seen it 2 or 3 times now. Every time it is very well done. They even have a real dog for Max.
Love it.
And I will say, no matter who, they have multiple people playing Grinch, obviously, on like all over the place, but all of them are great. I've never seen a Grinch that was not great. Honestly, they get it very much. They do such a good job. They all act very similar. They all act very much like Jim Carrey's from The Grinch. That's kind of who they theme this after. So that's very, if you've seen that, it's kind of what they all act like. But this, again, I'm not a huge play person, but it's very well done. Very talented people.
And how long is it? Like, is it 30 minutes?
It might be 30. It's pretty quick. It's not a super long thing, but it's sort of the condensed version, but it's still good. And like, I even, our kids enjoy it. There's singing. There's,
I will say the performers are excellent.
Yeah.
Because every time we've seen the show, the singing is really good, and there's a lot of dancing, a lot of choreography. So those Universal, the team members that are a part of the show do such an amazing job.
Yeah, I mean, and given too that this is free with admission, it's it's honestly one of the best shows you will find in a theme park.
Yes.
To be honest, it's that good, and it's something that you should definitely do for Christmas, because it's probably going to take an hour out of your day to do this by the time everything's said and done.
Depends on when you go, because you could be waiting a while if it's a long line to like see the show, because there's only holds so many people in the theater,
right?
So you want to get there. Like I say, if the show starts at like say 12:30, I would probably get there no later than 12.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, it's probably anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half it could take you.
Yeah.
They have how many shows they have per day? Do you remember?
I think it varies. I want to say maybe 5.
There's quite a few.
6.
So you've got quite a few opportunities each day to see it. Mm-hmm. But I would, again, I'm not a big play person, but it's very good. I would highly recommend it.
Same. I love it. Yeah. That's why it's my number 2. And your number 2.
Well, that's what I say. It's our technically it's our list. Yeah.
Yes.
What's number 1 on our list?
Number 1 is the Grinch meet and greet.
This is hands down the most unique and coolest thing that Universal has for Christmas, because you go in and you literally meet the Grinch, and he is the Grinch, so he's mischievous, and sometimes he'll make fun of you or whatever. He does. You have kids, obviously, he's very fun, and then you get a picture with him. But you get a little. It probably depends on these parts. You probably get, I don't know, a minute with him. Maybe, depending on it depends.
Oh, I think you get more than that.
Maybe you do. He spends a little time. We've done it 2 or 3 times. The first time I did it, our son was not into it at all.
Nope.
He would love it now, because now he loves the Grinch.
And that was at the end of COVID, so it was still kind of distance. Remember, he was like behind the kids.
Yeah,
do you remember that?
A little bit. Now, last year's wasn't. Last year's was normal.
Yeah, last year's was fine. That takes place in the All the Books You Can Read store. And the reason we put this number 1 is because, 1, it's included with admission. You don't have to pay for it like you would with the Grinch breakfast. But it does get very long lines. The other day I saw it was a 3-hour wait.
Yeah, and they're not doing a virtual queue with this anymore. They did a virtual queue last year. People
were mad about that, the virtual queue, because once it was closed, You could not even get in a standby. And that bothered a lot of people. They're like, I want to be able to wait.
Yeah, those people are crazy. But that's the problem with this. If you want to do this, I would say first thing in the morning, go over there. That's what a lot of people will do, because if you just decide midday, let's go meet the Grinch, you're going to be waiting for a very long time to do so.
And I'll have to check, but I don't think he starts meeting right at park opening. I think he starts at like 11.
It's a little bit after park opening.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those things, like, while this is obviously number 1 on our list, there's no way this is worth 3 hours.
No,
I don't think there's
no.
anything in a theme park that's actually worth 3 hours, if I'm being quite honest.
Mm-hmm.
It is really cool. But if you don't mind waiting in line a little bit, obviously if you got littles, that's tough.
Yeah.
But I think it's a really cool thing, and it's very unique, and it's something that as far as I know, you're not going to find anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, if you're paying attention to this list, you can see that we really like the Grinch.
Well, and the Grinch is very much, he's featured quite a bit at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I would say honorable mention would be Seuss Landing in general. It's very Christmassy.
Yeah.
You walk through there and
It's decorated.
Yeah.
Yep. Another honorable mention that I do want to say that kind of encompasses a lot of what we talked about is the Universal Holiday Tour.
Mm-hmm.
So I do this every year, and it is like kind of a walking tour, and it's basically almost like, it's not really behind the scenes. It kind of is, but it's more like priority seating at the Holiday Spectacular, the Grinchmas show. And you get to meet the Grinch and some Who's and Max.
Oh, yeah.
Which you don't get to meet Max unless you go to the tour. So that's pretty cool. You also get to meet Santa. And you cannot meet Santa at Universal at all unless you go to the tour.
Which I don't like.
I know.
They ought to.
That's interesting.
That, but yeah.
But there's that, and then they give you like small bites and desserts here and there. Then you get a special viewing of the Magic of Hogwarts projection show and stuff like that. So you also get to ride, I think it's Minions Blast.
Okay.
Villain Con, I think you get to ride that this year.
Random, but okay.
I know. That's whatever. But yeah, so I mean, like, it's a cool tour. It starts at $79 a person. And if you want to do some of the stuff that we said, that we really like to do without, having to wait in lines and just kind of move along. Yeah, this is the one to do. Holiday tour.
Yeah, it's kind of like the thing with Halloween Horror Nights. Similar thing. You can get a lot of stuff done with this whatever they call it. I forget what they call them with Halloween Horror Nights, but similar thing.
Scare.
I thought it was Scream Pass or something.
Yeah, behind the screams.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, yeah, that's something you can definitely do if you want to just bypass all that.
Yep. So that is our list.
Yes.
Top 10 things we like to do for Christmas at Universal Studios Orlando Resort. Anything you want to add about what we talked about? Is there anything that we have never done that you would like to do Christmas time? Or what do you think Universal should start doing? Like, they have the IPs for? Should they? I would like to see Minions. I would like to see dressed up Minions.
I was gonna say I would like to see more. I think Hollywood maybe has Minions that are dressed up.
I think it's Japan.
Oh, it's Japan.
They have this whole Minion thing.
Yeah, I think more Minions. I think that would be cool to see Minions, like Christmas themed stuff.
Yep.
That make like you could have like a Gru that's like a grumpy Santa, and they're like his elves. I think would be kind of funny. That would be a main one. Everything else, I'm trying to think here. I mean, they're expanding what they do for Christmas, and honestly, like, it's very different from, say, like Disney's Christmas. But I really enjoy Universal's. I think it's very well done, and I've enjoyed doing it the past few years, obviously, since we've been doing this show. And I mean, expanding wise, I think you could do more. I think Universal in general could do better on the themed foods side of things. I think as a whole. So I think that maybe it's hopefully something they work on, because you could do more holiday, snacks and drinks and special things like that. Yeah, I mean, as a whole, I would meet Santa. Having a place to meet Santa, I think would be good.
That's not like the holiday tour.
Right. That's just there.
Right.
I mean, I understand it's like Disney has Disney Springs. They can put that over there. That's a lot more space. So they're probably just limited on space for some of that stuff.
Disney you can also meet Santa at a Magic Kingdom.
A lot of places.
And Epcot.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you spread him out, it doesn't create as much demand in a singular space.
Right.
But
Right. Like I really enjoy Christmas here at Universal, and I enjoy going every year. And even if I've already done it, I'm like, I got to do it all again. That's how much I like it.
Yeah. I was thinking it's maybe some holiday beers and drinks.
Holiday beers. Yeah. Well, they do, like you said, they do have some food and drinks that are themed to holidays. They didn't make our top 10 list, like you said. They just need to improve upon that. But yeah. So.
Yeah. I guess the only thing I would add, I have had, this is not really Christmas related, but you can get them now, is I have had both the new beers and the Wizarding World that they came out with. Those were Daisy Root Drought and a dark forest ale that they came out with. So I had tried the Daisy Root Drought a few weeks prior. So this is the one that's lighter. It's more fruity, kind of more refreshing. It's kind of like a Blue Moonish type of beer. It's really good. I like it a lot. So I hadn't tried, but the Dark Forest Ale, I was like, I don't know, because I don't really like dark beers too much. But this one is, I guess they would call it a full body beer, but it is, it's darker. It's more of a, I think there's hints of like molasses in there. It's not my cup of tea when it comes to beers. I'm not big on like draughts and dark beers. But if you like dark beers, like this isn't bad. It's kind of sweet. So if you like those types of beers, I think you'd like it a lot. I just prefer a lighter beer in general. So I like the Daisy Root a bit better. But they're both pretty good. And now there's 4 different types of beers, specifically to Wizarding World that you can get.
Okay, cool.
They have 2 that they've had since they opened. Mm-hmm. I can't tell me. I think Dragon's Ale and Wizard's Brew, I think, are the 2 other ones.
Got it.
So you can get those for Christmas and try those out.
Oh, all right.
There you go.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is it for what we're going to talk about on the show today. We do have a Cyber Monday sale going on at our shop at ctmshirts.com. And we will be extending it all the way until Wednesday. So if you would like to grab a shirt or 2 or more at our shop, what's the code to use, Jared?
That would be, just use Black Friday.
Black Friday?
So we're going to do 25% off. And you might be thinking Cyber Monday. It'll be Cyber Week, whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
That's fine.
But we had kind of so much traffic come in. The site went down a little bit on Monday. So that's why we're extending it a little bit, because you guys flooded the site. So we'll extend it, like Jamie said, till Wednesday. Use the code Black Friday and they get you 25% off on the website.
All right. Thank you very much. Before we go, we just want to mention that you should check out some of the other shows on the network, like our Disney show that we do on Thursdays. Jared and I, we talk about the news and usually a topic there. We also have Trip Tales, which I do once, sometimes twice a month, on the other feed. And I will have a new one coming out in, I believe, 2 or 3 weeks, and that'll be the last one of the year. So again, if you would like to be a guest on a future Trip Tales episode, you can go to ctmtriptales.com to fill out that form. And obviously Universal's show we do once or twice a month. And yeah.
Yeah. One thing I'm going to remember now, I forgot to say it, ctmshirts.com is where you go. I just said the website.
Well, I said it for you.
Okay. I forgot if you said it or not. ctmshirts.com. It's stuck on my brain. There we go. But I got nothing else.
Okay. Sounds good. Also catch us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere. Just kidding.
There will be a new Epic Universe Construction update on YouTube this week. So I'm working on the video currently. The new pictures came out between traveling from Missouri to back home. So hopefully my goal is to have it out Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yay. Fun stuff. Mm-hmm. Fun stuff. Okay. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening or watching. And thank you, Jared, for being here.
You're very welcome.
Awesome. And as I always like to say, we will see you in the parks.
Bye.